this is Baby Babkas and we're happing up in the kitchen. This weekend I went out to a farm up north that sold a lot of squash, and so I stocked up because squash are great and they last a really long time if you keep them somewhere cold and dark, so we kept them down in our cellar. Here's just a small selection of the 25 squash and pumpkins that I got, and so I'm gonna better have to use them up before they go bad, which will be in a couple months. That's okay. So tonight I'm going to make a squash that you're probably all familiar with, butternut squash. I'm going to make a butternut squash and quinoa salad. So I'm going to roast the squash for this salad, and be careful because squash are tough, and just simply cut the squash in half. Ta-da! And you'll see in squash these little seeds in the bottom. So I'm just going to scoop out the seeds. With a spoon. This is a handy grapefruit spoon that has little ridges on the tips to make it scoop a little bit easier. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to roast the squash, so actually the seeds will come out. One thing that I like to do with the seeds is dry them on a paper towel, and then once they're dried, put them away in a little container, and you can actually plant these seeds next year. If it's an organic squash, because sometimes genetically modified seeds are inhibited from reproducing. So in that case, you cannot replant them. But this is an organic squash, so it's okay. All right, so then I'm just going to put the squash on some parchment paper. Because it is sweet, has lots of sugar, it will stick. And I'm just going to stab it just lightly in certain parts. Or you can use a fork and prick it too. Same thing. And I turn my oven on to 350, and I'm not sure exactly how long this is going to take. Don't want to overcook it because it's going in the salad. I want it to still be firm. So I'm going to check it in about half an hour to see if it's soft. Great. And with the squash salad, we're going to make quinoa as the base. Quinoa is an ancient grain from the Incans, and it's one of my favorites because it's so quick to make. As you can see, it's just little tiny dots, essentially white dots, that when they cook, they kind of pop up and become translucent. So how you cook it is kind of similar to rice. I just put 2 parts water to 1 part quinoa. The thing about quinoa is I like to rinse it first and kind of look at it to make sure there's no weird stones or weird looking things, and then just bring the water to a boil and add the quinoa and let it simmer until it's soft and translucent. Now you just keep stirring the quinoa until all the water has dissolved and it starts to look transparent. Put it on the lowest setting. I just took the squash out of the oven. I think it was about 20 minutes.